Welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be taking a look at the 7 worst new motorcycles everyone regrets buying. Number 7. Honda Shadow Phantom. The Honda Shadow Phantom is the kind of bike that looks like a bad boy but rides like it's stuck in traffic behind a minivan. It's got the blackout styling, the low-slung seat, and just enough attitude to make you think you're getting something cool for your $8,000. But once you're actually on it, reality sets in faster than a DMV line. The 745cc V-twin engine is about as thrilling as decaf coffee, fine for puttering around town, but try merging onto the freeway and suddenly you're wishing you depict literally anything with more bite. This bike isn't just slow, it's the kind of slow that makes you check if the parking brake is on. The ride comfort, imagine sitting on a park bench with wheels. The rear suspension is stiff enough to remind you of every pothole your city's budget forgot to fix. And while the low seat height might sound like a plus, it comes at the cost of cornering clearance. You'll be scraping pegs before you're even having fun. And then there's the tech or lack of it. No ride modes, no traction control, not even ABS is standard in some cases. For nearly $9,000, you'd expect a little more than a speedometer and regret, and don't even try to sell it. The resale value drops faster than your excitement after the first ride. Bottom line. The Shadow Phantom is all style, no substance. You pay a premium for the aesthetic, but the ride leaves you feeling shortchanged. Number 6. Harley-Davidson Nightster. The Harley-Davidson Nightster is a bike that promises the soul of a Harley in a modern, stripped-down package, and somehow manages to drop the ball in every direction. Starting at just over $13,000, it looks like a decent deal until you realize what you're not getting. First off, that 975cc Revolution Max engine might sound cool on paper, but on the road, it delivers a riding experience that's more meh than muscle. It lacks the thump, the grunt, and frankly, the character that Harley buyers expect. Instead of a raw American cruiser, you get a confused identity crisis on 2 wheels. Then there's the build, it feels more plastic than premium. For a brand known for timeless metal machines, the Nightster feels like Harley tried cutting costs and hoped nobody would notice. Suspension, it's stiff enough to shake the fillings out of your teeth. And let's not forget the odd ergonomics. It's as if Harley couldn't decide between cruiser comfort and cafe racer aggression, so they just split the difference and called it a day. And the kicker. After taxes, dealer fees, and a few essential upgrades to make it even remotely comfortable, you're staring down $16,000 and wondering why you didn't just buy a used Fat Bob with actual soul. At the end of the day, the Nightster is a lesson in how to spend big and still feel shortchanged. If you're looking for Harley vibes on a diet, this might catch your eye, but ride it long enough and you'll realize this isn't the bike you brag about. It's the one you trade in. Number 5. Kawasaki Eliminator. The Kawasaki Eliminator is the kind of bike that looks like it should be fun, but ends up feeling like a Craigslist listing in the making. At just under $7,000, it promises a modern cruiser experience. But what you actually get is more of a beginner bike meets midlife crisis situation. Sure, it's lightweight and low-slung, but once you're cruising past 55 mph, the 451cc parallel twin starts to feel like it's doing overtime at a job it doesn't like. Twist the throttle and you'll quickly realize this isn't the muscle cruiser the name pretends to be, it's more of a gym membership you never use. Comfort. Well, the seat feels like Kawasaki mistook a cafeteria tray for design inspiration. After 45 minutes, your lower back will start negotiating terms of surrender. The rear shocks don't help either, especially if you're over 160 pounds or happen to live somewhere with potholes like, say, all of Michigan. And despite its urban rebel image, this bike has no gear indicator, which means you'll be guessing more than a tourist in Times Square. Fuel economy isn't bad, but when the tank only holds 3.7 gallons, you'll be visiting gas stations more than you'd like, especially for a bike marketed at commuters. And let's talk resale. With so many better options at this price point, the Eliminator sits on the used market longer than a forgotten Tinder match. In short, the Kawasaki Eliminator tries to be cool, but ends up like a cover band playing a half-hearted version of a hit song. If you're thinking about buying it, maybe eliminate that idea first. Number 4. BMW R18. The BMW R18 is a big, beautiful cruiser that turns heads, but for all the wrong reasons once you've signed the check. With a starting price hovering around $16,000 and climbing past $20,000 with just a few add-ons, it's a lot of wallet for what ends up being a garage ornament for many buyers. On paper, the R18 screams retro charm and German engineering. In reality, it's a clunky, overly ambitious machine that tries to compete with Harley but ends up stepping on its own shoelaces. The engine is massive, literally. At 1800cc, the Boxer twin delivers loads of torque but feels like overkill for city riding and downright stubborn in traffic. And the weight? This beast tips the scales at nearly 800 pounds. Good luck pushing that around a parking lot or making a tight U-turn without looking like you're wrestling a vending machine. Maintenance isn't cheap either. Oil changes, valve adjustments, and parts carry that BMW premium. If you drop it, which many first-time R18 buyers admit to doing, you're staring at a repair bill that might make you question every life choice since high school. And don't get started on the resale value. This bike depreciates faster than day-old guacamole. In the end, the BMW R18 is a case of style over substance. It looks stunning in the showroom but quickly becomes the motorcycle equivalent of a bad Tinder date. Expensive, uncomfortable, and a pain to get rid of. Number 3. Triumph Rocket 3. The Triumph Rocket 3 is the kind of motorcycle that turns heads and empties wallets. With a starting price around $24,000, it's one of the most expensive ways to say, "Look at me, I bought too much motorcycle." Sure, it boasts a ridiculous 2500cc engine, the largest of any production bike, but that's like buying a flamethrower to light birthday candles. It's overkill and not the fun kind. Let's talk practicality. This bike weighs nearly 700 pounds, which means riding it feels like bench pressing a refrigerator every time you take a turn. Good luck squeezing through traffic or backing it into a parking spot without sweating through your leather jacket. And while it screams power, it whispers comfort. That rear suspension may look cool, but on American highways with potholes big enough to swallow a Ford Fiesta, your spine will file a complaint. The fuel economy, laughable. Around 30 miles per gallon if you ride gently, which, let's be honest, no one does on this beast, so you're spending more time and money at the gas station than on the road. Maintenance and insurance aren't cheap either. Triumph parts aren't exactly stocked at your local hardware store, and if you drop it, which happens often with a bike this bulky, expect repair bills that'll make your credit card cry. In the end, the Triumph Rocket 3 is a showpiece trapped in a heavyweight's body. It's a muscle-bound reminder that bigger isn't always better, especially when it comes with a monthly payment and a chiropractor on speed dial. Number 2. Harley-Davidson Road Glide. The Harley-Davidson Road Glide is a $25,000 monument to loud pipes, wind tunnel aerodynamics, and buyer's remorse. On paper, it looks like a dream cruiser, a big V-twin frame-mounted fairing and that classic Harley charm, but reality sets in right after the down payment clears. First off, the Road Glide rides like a couch with a hangover. At nearly 900 pounds, it's less touring machine and more land yacht stuck in traffic. Maneuvering it at low speeds is an exercise in leg day, and parking it feels like docking a boat minus the water. The infotainment system, which sounds fancy in the brochure, feels like it was designed by someone who's never used a smartphone. Navigation glitches, laggy touch responses, and Bluetooth dropouts make long rides feel longer. Then there's the heat. The Milwaukee 8 engine throws off enough warmth to toast a bagel by mile 10. And for the premium price tag, you'd expect a smoother ride. Instead, you get a suspension that mistakes every pothole for a life lesson. Fuel economy, let's just say gas station attendants might start greeting you by name. And while the exhaust note is iconic, it also doubles as a neighborhood alarm clock. Not exactly the kind of attention you want during a Sunday cruise. To top it all off, depreciation hits harder than a pothole on a hardtail. In the end, the Harley-Davidson Road Glide isn't a terrible motorcycle. It's just a very expensive way to discover you should have taken more test rides. Number 1. Indian Chief. The Indian Chief is a textbook case of style over substance. It looks like a $17,000 piece of rolling Americana art, but ride it for a week and you'll realize that most of that money went into polishing chrome, not performance. On paper, it's got a burly 111cc engine and a classic cruiser stance that screams badass, but on the road, it handles like a boat in a parking lot. We're talking a nearly 700-pound machine that corners with the enthusiasm of a tired bison. For a supposedly modern bike, the tech feels like it's stuck in 2009. No ride modes, no advanced safety features, and a bare-bones digital display that makes your old iPod look futuristic. Then there's the ride quality. The suspension feels like it was tuned by someone who thinks potholes build character. Long highway rides turn into chiropractor visits, and city streets feel like off-road trails. And let's not forget the heat. This thing cooks your thighs like it's auditioning for a barbecue show. Maintenance is no picnic either. Indian's service network isn't exactly sprawling, so good luck finding a dealer within 50 miles if you don't live near a major city. Parts are pricey, wait times are long, and resale value drops faster than your enthusiasm after the first month. In the end, the Indian Chief is one of those bikes that looks amazing parked in your driveway, but constantly reminds you of your poor decision every time you ride it. And with this, we have reached the end of this video. Make sure to like it and subscribe the channel for future upcoming videos.